What we're going to be after today is Mr. Mango is going to be speaking to us again for about 45 minutes. I'd like to introduce him. First of all, you guys all know Mr. Mango is a physical education teacher. He's been teaching here for 30 years. He's about 4 years away from retirement. And based on his experience, the things that he's done in his life, he's put some things together. But before we get through that, or get to that, Mr. Mango was a 1975 graduate of Willowbrook High School, and pardon me as I'm just going to kind of read through some of the things that he's gone through. But again, a 1975 graduate of Willowbrook High School, and back in the 70s, Willowbrook was churning out the athletes, not only in the sport that he was doing, but also football, basketball, and a lot of other things. So it was a heyday back then in the 70s for athletics at Willowbrook. He was a high school state champion on the still rings, and most of us have been in the gymnastics balcony, and we've done some things on the still rings or with the still rings, and it's a very, very difficult apparatus to perform moves on. So he was a state champion for that. He was also a high school All-American, and he was just inducted into the inaugural Hall of Fame for Willowbrook High School. So let's give him a big round of applause for that. Not only was he inducted, but like I said, it was a hotbed for athletes back then. He was inducted along with 4 professional athletes, one of whom pitched in the final game of a World Series. So if you didn't know that, that's pretty cool. From Willowbrook High School, he went on to Northern Illinois University. And if you don't know Northern Illinois University, it is the Harvard of the Midwest. Several brilliant people have also graduated there, including myself and Mr. Burton. Okay. There he was a Division I national champion, again, on the still rings. He competed against and defeated several Olympians in the process. And these Olympians were for the 1980 team, team that boycotted the Soviet Olympics, the 1984 team in Los Angeles, in 1988 in Beijing.
That was way
1989. 1988. He was a 2-time college All-American. He is the current Northern Illinois record holder for still rings. He is also a Northern Illinois University Hall of Fame member, and he is also, if you don't know this, he is also selected number 8 on the NIU Top 50 Best Husky Athletes of All Time. So of all the people, of all the athletes that have come through Northern Illinois University, you're looking at number 8. I want to meet 1 through 7, because I don't think they match up to you at all. All right? Moving on, he was also a coach here for some time. He was the head coach for three Illinois elite gymnastic teams, selected Illinois Gymnastics Coach of the Year in 1982. He was a head coach, 1992 Illinois Gymnastic Team Champions at the National High School Girls Gymnastic Championship. High school state champion. He coached a high school state champion, an All-American, and a Hall of Fame inductee. He was an assistant coach of an American Team Award from 1983-1984, and he's also the father of 2 girls who are Division I athletes, one who just graduated from Marquette University, and one who's a libero at the University of Louisville. Okay? And did I say they were very cute too? Comes from his wife's side of the family.
Absolutely.
Okay? I'd like to introduce again Mr. Mango, who's a colleague, a mentor, and a great friend of mine. He's going to give us a little inspiration on, what it takes to be a champion. So, without further ado, Mr. Mango.
All right, before I start, I probably should let you know I'm not here to talk about gym, right? I mean, it should be obvious based on that introduction. By the way, thanks, Coach Neville. I appreciate that. And how many of you were here when I came in to do passing the last couple of years? 1, 2, okay. I'm not here to talk about passing today either. I'm actually going to talk about something that comes way before any of that. So why am I here? Well, let's start with some things that you might be familiar with. How many of you have seen the movie Rudy? Oh, a lot of you. I don't usually have that many see that movie. That's the one with that individual who walked on to Notre Dame's team. What happened to him? Let's go to the 1980 Olympic hockey team. How many people have seen the movie Miracle? One of my favorite films. Okay? Let's take it a step further. How about Remember the Titans? All right, one more. This one's a little older. Some of you may be too young. Hoosiers. Not as bad. Okay. I still have a lot of you that have seen those films, and I don't bring those up just because they're true stories. I bring them up because the theme that runs through all of those films has a lot to do with why I'm here and what I'm going to talk about. Is there anyone in here that wants to venture to guess what that theme is? Because it's the same in all of them. Someone want to take a risk and raise their hand and say, hey, I know. Yeah. All right, it's an underdog story. That's a good example. So what you have another answer? Inspirational? Okay. So both of those are correct. You have a movie story about an athlete or a group of athletes, like a team, like you, that are trying to achieve something that from the outside looks to be impossible. They're trying to beat the odds. Well, that's what I'm here to talk to you about today. How is it that that happens? How do athletes beat the odds? I mean, there's a lot of people who try, but there's so few that actually accomplish that. Some of you, I know you raise your hands, you know some of the true stories, but some of you may even know someone who's taken on a challenge like that you thought was kind of goofy, maybe. That ain't going to happen. It's not even possible. Right? Maybe. What makes the difference between those who do and those who don't? You see, there's a lot of value in the answer to that question. Your coaches and I believe that the answer to that question will have a lot of bearing on what happens to you this season and beyond. In fact, not just for this season and beyond, but for you as an athlete and as a person in your life. Now, you'll notice I've given each one of you a 3x5 card. Is that correct? You all have one. Anybody not have one, so I can make sure you have it. And you have a pencil. We're going to do a little activity if you don't mind. I'd like you to number 1, 2, and 3 on the left side of that card. Now, I'd like you guys to take this, pretty serious, so I want you to give this some thought. You're going to notice when I talk today, I goof around with you guys in gym, I have a good time, it's fun, games, so on and so forth, but what I'm talking about today, I'm very passionate about. It's got a lot of deep meaning for me. So, when I ask you to write something on here, I want you to give it some thought. So, write something down that you really believe or want. Under number 1, I would like you to write a team goal for whatever team you're on this year, whatever it might be, for this season. Give me a team goal. What do you want to achieve as a team? Whatever team you're going to be on. Some of you are freshmen and sophomores, juniors, varsity. While you're doing that, or finishing that, give some thought to a personal goal. You as an athlete, as a volleyball player, what do you want to achieve? Now, that doesn't have to be this season. This could be in the future. It could be in college. It could be your senior year. I don't know. Maybe you want to be an All-American in volleyball. Maybe you want to go to Stanford and play. Whatever it is, I don't care. Write something down that you personally want to achieve in volleyball. Maybe it's a 3.0 passer. Doesn't matter. Really, it's important when you write for yourself. Under number 3, I want you to write what you think you need to make 1 and 2 happen. What are you going to need so that 1 and 2 goes from being on your paper to becoming something that's real? Now, while you're finishing that up, I want to clarify something I think it's really important for you guys. It's not something I'm going to spend a lot of time on today, but it's so important I need to emphasize a little bit. I cannot say enough of how important 1 and 2 are on your card, your goals. If you don't have goals, why are you here? Why are you even an athlete? You see, goals give an athlete direction. They give a person direction. It's a point in the future where you're going to want to be. People that don't have goals, they tend to go through the motions a lot. There's no direction. Now, again, I'm not here to talk to you about goals, how to set them, things of that nature. I'll be talking about different things that relate to them, but that's a whole other conversation. I'm here to talk to you about beating the odds. And for me to do that, I want you to look at number 3 on your card first. I need a couple of you to give me some examples of what you wrote for number 3. What are you going to need to accomplish your goals this year? Anyone?